With hostilities entering a fifth day, Israel fired artillery rounds and mounted extensive airstrikes against a network of militant tunnels under Gaza dubbed the Metro, amid persistent rocket attacks with no signs of it abating, as pressure for an international response mounts.
We are totally committed to revitalizing the quartet. We are totally committed to promote all forms of dialogue by the parties and by other key actors that can be supportive of all démarches necessary for de-escalation, but also for the revitalization of a peace process that has been dormant for too much time.
The UN says more than 200 housing units were destroyed or severely damaged in Gaza, with hundreds now seeking shelter in schools.
We stayed together at home with a group of children. Suddenly, we heard artillery hitting us from every side. Wherever we looked, it was hitting. We and our children are completely exhausted.
The death toll in Gaza has risen to over 120, including 31 children, while Israel has suffered 8 casualties, including 2 children.
The ongoing military escalation has caused great suffering and destruction. It has claimed scores of civilian lives, including, tragically, many children. The fighting has the potential to unleash an uncontainable security and humanitarian crisis and to further foster extremism, not only in the occupied Palestinian territory in Israel, but in the region as a whole. The parties must allow for mediation efforts to intensify with a view to ending the fighting immediately. The UN is actively involved in such efforts, which are also crucial for delivering much-needed humanitarian aid to the affected people in Gaza.
The International Criminal Court has warned that its earlier investigation into possible war crimes committed in Palestinian territories will extend to the current situation.
I said that these are events that we're looking at very seriously. We are monitoring also very closely. And I remind that investigations have opened, and the evolution of these events could be something that we will also look at in the course of our investigations. I think this is just to alert people to be, not to escalate, to be careful, and to avoid taking actions that will result in the commission of Rome Statute crimes.
At the heart of the latest military escalation is the threatened eviction of Palestinian families from neighborhoods in East Jerusalem and heavy-handed tactics by security forces in response to protests at the highly sensitive Al-Aqsa Mosque during the holy month of Ramadan.
I think the situation borders the absurd, and I think that Hamas is a globally recognized terrorist organization that should be held accountable for its crimes, its blatant disregard for human life, both Palestinian and Israeli. And I know for a fact that Israel, the IDF, is committed to international law and operates according to it.
Despite bilateral mediation efforts, no clear signs of an imminent ceasefire as yet. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu indicated the current military campaign would take more time, hoping to deal a blow to Hamas that has fired almost 2,000 rockets into Israel from Gaza. As the Security Council readies itself for its first open on-the-record meeting on the situation this Sunday, after it had failed on 2 occasions this week to pronounce itself, due to US objections that has undermined the consensus required in the 15-member body. Sherman Briceby's SABC News, New York.